Hello and welcome back to another out-of-spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Today we are talking wheels. Not necessarily talking about the wheel cleaners we're using, but more of the tools and the techniques and how to do so. Over the past couple of months, I've been purchasing different wheel brushes, testing them out. I've also, of course, been testing different wheel cleaners and seeing what I really like. But brushes are something that a lot of folks ask me about. I have a hard time reaching inside my barrels. I have a hard time cleaning my calipers or behind the spokes. Wheels are a very complicated and convoluted area on your vehicle to actually get clean. And a lot of the times the cleaners help a lot, but the tools behind it help even more. So in today's video, we're going to be cleaning up my Tesla Model 3 wheels, showing you all the tools, all the techniques, and all the products I recommend. Let's jump into it. Now I do apologize, I am a bit sick today, just getting over a cold that I've had for literally the last week, but we need to create some videos here for you viewers on the channel. Now I have done some videos in the past talking about deep cleaning wheels, different product testing that I've done with comparing 4 different wheel cleaners on 4 different wheels on a car, seeing which is best, testing all the different tools out there, but I've finally come to a manageable spot that I'm very happy with. I have a few different solutions for wheel cleaners. I've got my tire cleaner and I've got all the brushes, most importantly. Now, a lot of the times when we talk about wheels, a lot of folks want the easiest way to go about it. Now, first off, the easiest ways to keep your wheels clean are, of course, to have them ceramic coated. Once they're ceramic coated, they keep brake dust off quite a bit more. When they do get brake dust and grime and salt and nastiness on them, they're a heck of a lot easier to clean up. Typically, you don't have to scrub every single time. You can kind of rinse them off, get them 85 to 90% clean. But if you want to go a little bit step further, get them 100% clean, maybe you have a Cars and Coffee or a car show you want to go to, or you're just OCD like me and nearly do this every single time you wash your car, this video is going to be for you. Now, first off, we need to talk about wheel cleaners, tire cleaners, and everything we want to use here. There are a few different ones out there. There are quite literally probably hundreds and maybe even thousands of different wheel cleaners. I have used a ton of them in my detailing career. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've tested everything, the hype, whatever it may be. Now, the biggest thing with wheel cleaners, you need to keep it simple, but you also need to keep it safe. Now, a lot of folks out there that are working on heavily used vehicles, that your car doesn't get cleaned quite often, you've got baked on brake dust on there that's been on there for 10 years on the vehicle and it's hard to get off, they'll use something called an acidic wheel cleaner. Now, I would say for regular daily use, this isn't really necessary. Now, acid goes in there, breaks down brake dust that is heavily embedded, heavily contaminants on there, and can help in certain situations. But typically, that's if a car's just left for dead, essentially. Now, EVs are a little bit different from internal combustion engine vehicles as well. This Tesla Model 3, typically you don't even touch the brakes unless you're pushing the car on a back road or potentially on a track. The regen braking, the one pedal driving on these really do keep your wheels clean from mostly brake dust, but if you have rain, if you live in a wintry area, wheels can get really disgusting with salt, road grime, and all of that. So it's important to have something to clean it up with. Now, again, I've tested literally hundreds of different wheel cleaners at this point. My absolute favorite one out there is Koch Chemie Magic Wheel Cleaner. Now, I do not have it sitting here in front of me today. I actually ran out of the product, didn't get enough here in time to shoot this video. It is bar none the best wheel cleaner out there. Now, I would say there are specific use cases maybe for this particular wheel cleaner. This wheel cleaner is something that you can basically spray on, especially a ceramic coated wheel, let it sit and rinse it off, and it gets 95% of the grime off. It is truly impressive stuff. The biggest negative with it though, it's expensive. I believe it's about $22 for a 16-ounce bottle. Now you can probably get maybe squeeze in 2 cars out of that. So really have to consider that. If you're doing that frequently, you're washing your car every week, that's gonna add up. Of course, you can buy it in gallons and dilute it, but then it doesn't work as well. Now, the area I see this best use case for: wheels that are absolutely filthy, vehicles that are tracked often or really accumulate a ton of brake dust. I'm thinking Mercedes, Porsche, Audi, BMW, vehicles like those that you may need a little bit more aggressive wheel cleaner that goes in there, attaches to the iron particulates in there. Now, a lot of the times you'll see this all over social media. Guys will spray down the wheel, it turns bright purple. That's exactly what that product does. But it also has a lot of detergents in there to get rid of road film, road salt, all of the nastiness in there. Now, a product that's quite a bit cheaper is in my IK sprayer here. Now, this is Adam's wheel cleaner. It's going to be one of those reactive to iron wheel particles, and it's going to remove them. It's going to bleed off. It'll help quite a bit. Now, what you can use with that is something like the IK foam sprayer here for a specific reason. A lot of the wheel cleaners are like a gel. So typically you spray it on the wheel, they all drip down to the bottom. When you go to clean them, the top of your wheel is completely dry. Now, 9 times out of 10, a lot of cars these days have gloss black wheels. They're very, very prone to scratching. So you want to add some sort of foam, some sort of lubrication on there to make sure that you're getting them clean and actually not damaging them. So what you can do is get a foam sprayer over here, which is going to leave a thick foam on the actual wheel. It'll help cling to the wheel a little bit better. Now, you can do that, or you can use it straight out of the bottle and grab yourself one of these. Now, this is, of course, a foam cannon. If you're washing your car, watching this channel, you of course probably know what this is. You spray the wheel cleaner on, foam the wheel down. It'll help give some lubrication on there, so when you're brushing it, you're not actually scratching it quite as much. Now, a product that I've been using that I absolutely love for cleaning wheels is Simple Green. Now, I have had some controversy with this in the comments, people going like, what do you have a professional detailer using something you can buy at Walmart or Home Depot? This stuff works. Now, for all-purpose cleaners, I'm not a huge fan of them. A lot of the times they're way too aggressive, even diluted. They'll leave white spots, especially on rubber, plastic fender liners. They're a mess on your paint. I just really try to stay away from heavily degreaser products. So Simple Green is something I've been using for literally forever, and I absolutely love it. So in that bottle there, I have 50% Simple Green, 50% water on there. You can spray it on wheels. It is absolutely perfect for EVs. Because we don't have a lot of that iron brake dust in here that's coming off, getting soaked on the wheel, it's actually almost a better alternative to something like using Magic Wheel Cleaner or Adam's Wheel Cleaner over here. Now, you can also do this in the same fashion. When you spray down your wheel, use a foam cannon on it. I do find it's a little overkill. If you're one of those guys, of course, if you're watching this channel, you're probably overkill, so I think that's great. But let's get into the actual tools now that we understand a few differences between wheel cleaners. So first off, you're gonna want a bucket. Now, it's very important to have a dedicated wheel bucket. We all know the 2-bucket wash. I'm actually a 1-bucket wash method guy. If you're interested in what I mean by that, I'll leave a link in the description below for you to go check out that on how to contact wash your paint. But it's very important to have a dedicated bucket for your wheel brushes that never have wash mitts in them that actually go on your paint. Now, buckets. You can pick up a simple one from Lowe's, Home Depot, Harbor Freight. I personally like these. I like to have them color coded so that the wheel bucket is red, meaning no go. I don't want to get that on the paint, hence why I have the red ring around here. This is a Chemical Guys bucket. It's a little bit smaller. I believe these are 3.5 or 4 gallons instead of the taller 5-gallon ones. Absolutely love these. So let's talk here a little bit about the brushes. Now, first off here, this is a new brush that I've been testing and I absolutely love it. This is really for your wheel faces. So areas like this, it's nice and plush here. It's actually got some frayed edges on it. Everything that I have here today, of course, will be in the link in the description below in case you're like, wow, I really like that brush, how it worked. I want to pick one up for myself, or maybe you want to pick up the whole lot. Now, this brush is fantastic for a few reasons. It has a very thick pile on it, meaning that the brushes are quite long, and it's very soft. This isn't going to go in and absolutely hammer gloss back wheels. Now, of course, you need to be careful with it. You don't want a wheel that has mud and dirt all over it and you're gonna go in there and scrub the heck out of it and really tear it apart. That's pretty obvious. Now what I really like about this, a lot of wheel brushes have just hard plastic on it. And you'll watch detailing videos, the guys are smacking it. I've done this in the past. I've had different wheel brushes that just have plastic on the side and they're just smacking the wheel. Now, does it really harm it? Yes, maybe no. You definitely can get some scratches here and there from that. I'd prefer you have something a little safer. This is made by Detail Factory here, and it actually has basically a rubberized handle on it. Great for, you know, gripping this while you're cleaning wheels for a couple minutes, but also on the edges, completely rubberized. Absolutely love that. Now also from Detail Factory over here, we have a tire brush. This is a lot shorter and a lot more coarse. So you don't want to be using this, of course, on wheel faces. We're going to go through a full demonstration here on how I would use all of these tools. But this is great for scrubbing off all the brown, dirty nastiness on your tires. Really, really love this. Now, of course, lug nut brushes, and there are quite a few different ones out there in the market, and I use 3 different ones. So essentially here we have a very, very soft one from Proper Detailing Company. This is great for little intricate areas. If you have your wheels coated, just needs a little agitation, but you don't want to go in there, scratch the heck out of it. Again, very, very good on gloss black wheels. Now over here, I have a Proper Detailing lug nut brush. Now you use these on interiors. Make sure you're keeping your interior brushes and your wheel brushes separate, of course. But this is great for little intricate areas, even in areas like in here. Really builds up some nasty brake dust in there and can be quite harmful. Lastly here, I have one other detailing brush that I've actually cut down. So you take the bristles off of this, basically cut it. Where do I use this for? This goes in between the tire and the rim of the wheel. This is an area quite frequently if you get your tires rotated often or tires swapped on and off, maybe you're doing a summer and winter setup, you get that white glob nastiness around it. This is great for going in there and really breaking that down. It's a little bit stiffer, so you're not going to want to use this necessarily on the wheel faces, but it's fantastic. So now we've got the faces covered. What do we use for the barrels? Everybody can go in there and clean the face of a wheel. You can grab a simple microfiber like this, foam this thing down, use Simple Green, use a heavy dedicated wheel cleaner on it, just go in there and clean it. Now this is a tool I love using too. We'll talk about that in a second. Now to get barrels, you're going to want something like this. Now there's a ton of different barrel brushes out there, as I'm going to call them. Everything from wheel woolies to these. Now I've used wheel woolies in the past, and I got to tell you, I don't love them. Wheel woolies typically just hold a bunch of stuff in them. They're this very thick, kind of matted, they almost feel like an old carpet, if you will. And I've never liked that. And they actually do scratch the ever-living heck out of the barrels on the inside of your wheel. So these are a fantastic product because a few things. Now, of course, they make them in different sizes. As you can see, this is a large one, this is a small one, and this is the easy detail brush. The thing I love about this versus the wheel woolies stay quite thick. Now they're typically around this thick and they'll probably shrink down a little bit once you're shoving them into your wheel essentially. The problem with that is a lot of the times you can't reach in there. You have a brake caliper in the way, maybe you have a large, like I'm thinking Audi RS6 with massive brakes on it and very, very small clearance. Wheel woolies are barely going to touch it, or you're going to have this very, very thin, small little brush that you're trying to poke in there and get the wheel clean. No more of that. These brushes are amazing. The nice thing about these, they have bristles in covering the entire 360 on here. But the nice thing is they shrink down, so you can get them in behind calipers, you can get them in behind the wheels and really get after them. So now that we understand basically everything there other than the microfiber, I'll show you this once we actually do a wheel cleaning here. That's pretty much all you need. Now again, you don't need to have a wheel cleaner and Simple Green. Figure out what your solution is here. If you're driving an EV, you have your wheels coated, Simple Green is going to be perfect for you. If you have a heavily tracked vehicle, Simple Green and coated wheels are still going to work quite well. But let's say you don't have ceramic coated wheels. Absolutely go grab something like a dedicated iron removing wheel cleaner. Now again, Koch Chemie Magic Wheel Cleaner, the absolute best in the business, but very, very expensive. Adams Wheel Cleaner, on the other hand, quite a bit more affordable. I think it's probably half the price. Does it work? half as well. I would say when you agitate it, likely no, but if you're looking for something to spray on there, rinse off, Magic Wheel Cleaner, absolutely the way to go. So we're gonna get our bucket filled up here, do a quick demonstration. We're gonna fill it up with a little bit of this. This is Adam's car shampoo. Like to have some lubrication in there. Again, wheels are an area that have a lot of contaminants in them. You don't want to just hammer your wheels, put scratches in them, make them look terrible. This is also going to neutralize some dirt in there. It's really going to help with that. So we'll do potentially, I may do one wheel with Simple Green, one wheel with wheel cleaner over here and some foam, and see if we can see any differences, and I think you'll be surprised with the result. But let's get cleaning this passenger side front wheel and jump into it. So we've got all the brushes in here. Let's put some soap in here. That is plenty for you to go. So we've got the wheel bucket filled up and ready to actually clean this up now. Now, a couple of things. You're going to see all over the internet a few different recommendations. A lot of folks come in here, spray down the tires with the wheel completely dry, spray the wheels down, watch the magic happen with your wheel cleaner. Now, I'm personally not a huge fan of that. I like to rinse wheels and tires off, get the largest amount of dirt off possible. Again, if you have something like gloss black wheels that show a lot of scratches, these really hide them quite a bit, but if you do have gloss black wheels, highly recommend doing this. Now again, ceramic coatings will help substantially. These wheels have been coated for almost 3 years now. And I will say the coating is not perfect on these. I really have needed to redo these, but this is my winter wheel and tire setup on this car. So they don't get cleaned all that often. The coating's not perfect on here, but we're still going to be using the Simple Green solution. So before we get spraying anything on here, let's give this a quick rinse down. So first off here, I'm going to grab my Geon tire cleaner. Now this is great at getting off old tire shine on here, any dirt that has kind of worked its way into the pores of the rubber. Then I'm going to come in here and grab my Simple Green. Now again, this is diluted 50-50. It works incredibly well at really getting in there and just breaking down dirt. Now again, if you have wheels that have a ton of brake dust, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, that type of stuff, you're probably going to want an iron removing wheel cleaner. But it's impressive, you can already see all the nastiness coming down there on the floor of the tires and all that nastiness. So what I would recommend to you here, you can completely go in there and clean this without using a foam cannon, but just for going for the sake of getting this wheel clean as safely as possible, hit it with some foam. Now again, this is going to give us quite a bit of lubrication on here and help clean because this does have detergents in it. So I'm going to grab my wheel bucket over here that is off camera, and I first like to start on the tires. So this brush is great. It's almost the perfect size for this sidewall. You can also get it in here if you really would like to, or use that little cut off lug nut brush as I showed you before. But look at the dirt that's pulling out of these. Pretty insane if you ask me. Now you don't have to work this till it's completely clean. It'll sit on there and continue to do that until you rinse it off. I'm going to come in with that Detail Factory brush here. And it's a nice soft brush. You're just going to work this around the spokes. Now again, you listen to this here. If you've listened to other folks in the industry cleaning wheels, even myself in the past, I'm not smacking all of these little spokes with my plastic wheel brush. I really think this is the way to go here. And I love that Detail Factory really thought about that. Now this brush is almost the perfect size, I would say. If you have really spoked wheels, you may want something a little smaller, but for 99% of the wheels out there, this is going to be absolutely perfect. So I like to do this just to get a good kind of once over here on the face of the wheel. Then I like to come in here with my lug nut brush. Now again, this is a little bit stiffer bristled one, but still very soft, as you can see. Go around the lug nuts in here, just one at a time, and just agitate. It's pretty quick and easy to do. Now, optional on here, depending on how dirty your wheels are, can come in here and get these tighter areas. These areas are definitely harder for bigger brushes like that Detail Factory brush to hit, especially areas like the valve stem. You can really get quick at it. You can even hit these little spokes. Again, this is all very dependent on your wheels. Now, next thing I like to do, this is the Derek Bemis method, which is grabbing a cheap microfiber towel, keep them clean, but like to come in here and you just kind of form fit it to the wheel here, which is what I really, really love. Now the great thing with this too is you'll be able to reach behind the spoke. And a lot of people are probably losing it right now going, oh my gosh, this guy wants to literally eat off this wheel. And yes, I would say I do. So of course, as you can see there, not a ton of dirt, but once we get back here, that one spoke, tons of hidden dirt back there. But that's the nice thing with this is you can really get behind those spokes. If you have really, really hard to reach wheels, just take some time and work with it. Now, of course, you want to make sure you're not getting this all over the ground as safely as you can. Perfect. Then lastly, let's talk about barrels. So I grabbed Easy Detail brush here. I hope you can see how tight this is. I can't even get a pinky finger in between the caliper and the wheel here, but this thing allows you to go all the way to the back. Now this is a very tight one, but I can fit it in between this little notch here. And what I like to do with these brushes is I like to turn them a little bit. Typically they come completely straight. They have basically a metal rod that runs through this that is coated with some sort of rubber, so they're not going to scratch up your wheels. But I like to turn them because you'll see what I'm doing here is actually reaching this way on the wheel, kind of flip it over here, go to the other side, and just kind of rotate this in there. Now, depending on how dirty your wheels are, I would probably recommend doing that twice, but these wheels are not super deep, of course. That wheel will fit a, 911, 315 size wheel. You can get all the way to the back of the barrel there, not a problem. Now, lastly here is this little guy. This is the smaller Easy Detail brush. This is even better for getting under areas like calipers. It's still not quite long enough to get all the way to the back. You can, but it does help because it has a thinner rod in here. This compacts a little bit easier, so you can fit that into areas. The other thing I like to do with this, as you can see, I have this one curved as well, get right behind those spokes. This is an area a lot of folks miss and holds a ton of brake dust, dirt, and grime. Now, there may be one area, depending on your vehicle, these are not painted calipers. So what I would do with non-painted calipers, grab our stiffer, bristled lug nut brush here, and as you can hear this, that's what it normally sounds like with that plastic hitting your wheel. I really, really would like to find a little bit nicer brushes, maybe Detail Factory. I need to see what they have, but have some kind of rubberized handles on there. Now, of course, if you have calipers that are painted, like a Model 3 Performance in this particular case, or a Porsche or BMW, use something like this, and you just basically get in there, scrub as much as you can. Now, the other great thing with these Easy Detail brushes is you can actually clean the calipers as well with them. So once you finish cleaning the face of the wheel, you can kind of get all different sorts of areas on them. Just make sure those are looking bright as humanly possible. So all in all, we've cleaned the entire wheel, the back of the spokes, the faces, the barrels, the caliper, the tires. Let's get these bad boys rinsed off. And clean. Now again, these wheels had been coated almost 3 years ago now, and they definitely have not been truly maintained, so they're starting to show their wear, but you can definitely see how the coating came back a little bit. Definitely still beating water, but not as great as day one. Again, this was an experiment on wheel coatings. I would say it's did its job for the 2 years that it's been on there, but pushing it over 3 years, it's been through 3 winters. These wheels have been on track and things like that, driven hard, so do consider that. But I gotta say, these wheels look absolutely perfectly clean, zero dust, zero dirt on there, with just simple green and some foam on there. Now again, you can just use simple green. I'm really just using the foam here in order to not really scratch up the face of the wheels, but in this particular case, you don't need to go spend your money on expensive wheel cleaners. Spend the money on the brushes, get you some simple green, and just clean them up. And that is this video. Now, of course, if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe to help us create more content and a bigger community with this. Now, if you were to ask me if I would spend money on, I'm on a tight budget, I want to keep my wheels clean, would you rather invest in nice detail brushes, or would you invest in consistently purchasing expensive wheel cleaners like Magic Wheel Cleaner? Now, as I just showed you in this particular case, and again, this is on a car without heavy embedded brake dust, but quite filthy wheels, I would say grab yourself some simple green. Invest in some nice brushes that'll help you reach especially the barrels of there. Get some nice lug nut brushes, some face brushes for the wheels, and a tire brush, and you're going to be set. I think all in all, you're probably going to be, I don't know, 75, 80, 90 bucks for a full dedicated wheel kit that you're going to be able to go in there, clean everything up, and these will last you for years. Now, importantly, maintenance wise on your brushes, every time you wash these, you want to rinse them out with your hose, with the pressure washer, let them dry. You don't want to let them sit soaking in your wheel bucket, of course. Try and rinse out your wheel bucket and make sure all those contaminants that have fallen to the bottom are not just sitting there. So if you guys have any other questions for me, please again leave them in the comment section below. But that's how you get some wheels absolutely perfectly clean. Thanks so much for watching another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. See you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.